Every time I come out to do something, it rains. Very, very hard, especially because I want to do suspension, but here it is. You can see how it's sitting, stock. I think it might be lowered a little bit in the rear already, but just a clean Calais or new suspension gear. So I'm going to get it out, have a look at the kit, and we'll go from there. So stay tuned, and I hope we can get this done this weekend. If I get this lowered this weekend for content, I will be super happy, but I'm not doing nothing in the rain. I'm sweating out a lot of drinks from last night. I'm struggling. Huge shout out to Mark Johnson and Why Not. I called him up and said, mate, what do I need for this? And he organised it through Pedders and had it sent down to me. So thanks, buddy. Huge thank you. This is everything I got for the front and rears. I think the first thing I'm just going to do, instead of just unboxing it and leaving everything out, get the front up, pull the front struts out, and see what I need to do to assemble the new ones, and I'll do one side at a time, and hopefully we can get this done. Hopefully it's going to be a learning curve, definitely going to be a struggling one after a lot of drinks, but let's do it. I'm happy, I'm excited, I'm really excited to get this thing lowered, so see how it looks. All right, so it's probably going to be a how-to, probably not do suspension. So that wasn't too bad, so I got that one out. So all I did was top caliper mount bolt I took out, undone the ABS, I'm guessing that's the ABS or some sort of speed sensor, just unplugged that off the strut. This one I accidentally chipped it until I figured out that you got to rotate it to slide it out. Sway bar link, and then the top bolt, and that's the top bolt, and it just came out. So it wasn't too bad. I'll just take the sway bar link off here. I'll put it on the new one. I'm only doing one at a time so I don't overcommit, pulling this thing apart and realising I've got the wrong part numbers or something, and it's just a punish. So do a little bit at a time, learn my way through. I got the hockey strap holding it up so there's no tension on anything. Just up to the aircon line. A little bit in, once we figure it out. I think the first one's always takes the longest. Then after that it sort of goes a bit quicker. I do have coil spring compressor kit too. So they're the heavy duty ones. I have had them bend as you try to just take a bit of pressure off the spring, and very danger. So on these, you've got a part number, and it does, on the end it has L, so I'm assuming that's the left. This one's got R, so that'll be the right, I'm assuming. But yep, it looks good. So all I've done is I spring compressed it, just took a bit of pressure off it, pulled it down. It's obviously, yeah, I've pulled nearly 2 inches, 3 inches down on it. I checked all part numbers, they seem to be the same. Cut this. It's only a shock, so it shouldn't spring, it just comes out. Get that bolt out, that nut. So that all stays there. I have a boot. No boot. I meant to use the boot off that one. I'll be back. Okay, making a mess. Got pedders everywhere in the front lawn here. But I got the first one together. The hardest part I found was just getting this nut off. It's a 24mm nut, but when you undo it, the whole assembly moves. So you can probably see I accidentally bent the washer just there, because I ended up putting it in my vise and I hit it with the rattle gun, and that was enough just to I just loosened it off and just made sure that I had the tension with the spring repressors. I definitely made sure that that was like just the coils were down before I undone that nut, and then just pulled it apart. It wasn't actually that hard, so just I don't even know what you call these, but that just comes off. There's another washer underneath, a bearing, and then this top hat, which is the original one with the dust boot. So that just comes apart. Put your new spring in, suppress it, put the cap back on, this cap, and then yeah, put your bearing in, the other washer, this, that, and then yeah, reuse your washers and just put your new nut on and tighten it all up, and it's exactly the same. It's not that hard. So once you pull them apart, you'll realise like that nut, to get that nut off's the hardest part. So I just put it back in. Literally took 3 minutes, not even. So whatever the ABS or speed sensor, I'm not even sure which one. Brake line's back in. Up top, I just got to do this nut up. So double check everything, triple check everything. Don't forget the caliper mount bolt, top bolt that we took out. So put that back in, double check it, double check all these. We didn't touch this. This has to do with wheel alignment, probably has to go for another one. The sway bar is back on, double check it. So all this is done, but I won't put the wheel on until I do the top nut and double check that. So I'll just do this one up and that's it, and I'll put this wheel on. I'll do the other side. And tomorrow morning I'll start on the back. But so far, it probably took longer than it should have. I'm really enjoying the later day because it was hot today. I want to clean up all this mess. Let me finish putting this back together, put this wheel back on, and go to the other side. Thanks, guys. Probably super dark, but we got to do what we got to do. So I just want to undo that sway bar link now. I got that. So what you do first, it's easy, just pull your lines out. Pull the lines, undo your caliper bolt, undo your sway bar link, which is I'm about to do now. This side's very tight. So that's how I've been doing it. And then what I'll do is once all they're done, I'll undo these two McPherson, like for the suspension bolts. So that's how I sort of do it, and then I'll undo the top. And don't forget to not only just jack your car up, but chock it as well. I got a chock underneath this chassis here. So that's the sway bar nut off. That's a 14mm sway bar nut. And now I'll get back up. So caliper bolts off, sway bar bolts off, lines are free. I'll just undo these two and the nut up top. I'm pulling this thing. Let's do it. Oh, big boy under it go. Oh. I need a hoist. Anyone wants to donate a hoist and a shed and pay for it all, I'd appreciate it. Okay, I can't say I'm enjoying this at all. Might just be my mood I'm in and hungover. I've got to shimmy up there with a handful of parts all the time. I need to use the garage, like the vise, to put this in. I'm pretty frustrated. So put that in the vise. All this is done up. I'll show you. I'll undo this nut. Got the washer that's now burnt. This bearing will just like that. That's the bearing inside there. It's pretty munted. See, there's a bearing in there. Oh, drops out now. It's all munted. I got a new one, but that's what you do. Should be a washer here. Yep, there it is. That's your washer. So like that. I'll do an exploded view. So that's the exploded view. Got your nut, your washer, there's your cap with your bearing in it, railway bearing, washer, and this is your top sort of hat. So you've got a rubber in here. So I'll undo the hose clamp in there, undo him, and that will free that boot. I'll undo these and just pull that spring out, because all I need is this. This is all you need off the old one. It's this top plate with that boot, and then we'll start assembling the new one. All right, let's go. It's getting dark. That took way too long, but I got the front end done. I'll show you guys in the morning what I've done. And up she goes. Ding, 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 ding. So it's a 5/8 nut, but what you need is to hold the top. So to stop it all spinning. So that was a 5/8 and a shifter, and that's the shock done. Look, the suspension's dropping down. Might as well do this one while I'm here. I struggled. I had to put, this is so dodgy. I just put a jack in here, jacked it up, slid the old spring out. I put the new spring in. I'll just come down. I'm just gonna have to bend that back. Like, I don't know. Probably a bottle jack would have done that a bit better with a block of wood. Just don't have one. I'll just tap that back down. But I'm very disappointed that it came to that. I'll just put a little bit of undercoat on there, I guess. Maybe some of that KBS chassis black just to protect it. But yeah, that was actually quite difficult. I think fronts and rears both had their difficult times, like the difficult bits. That's the hardest. So undone the shock, top and bottom, the sway bar, put a jack in just to drop that arm down, that suspension arm, pulled the old spring out, put the new one in, and then reverse the process. So I'll do that. All right, so the new shock's in, done up the bottom. Just put that on, just reverse the process up the top. It's pretty warm today. So, done the bottom bolt, the top shock bolt. I realised that you don't want to overdo it. Like, I got a nice little bulge there, but I think you can overdo them and you'll probably split them. So I'll check that as I drive and double check the jobs, but that just goes back on there. And it's done. Yeah, so what you need is a shifter on top, 5/8 spanner for your top shock. The boot just pulls off. Bottom shock bolt is 13/16. Sway bar is 1/2 inch. Use a jack to push down the suspension, pull the spring out, put the new spring in, and reverse it. It's very simple, a little bit struggly, but you can get it done. So I've done one side, I'll go do the other and drop it down, see how she looks. When you do this, be careful of your brake line. This side going down fine with the jack. The other side there was a lot of pressure there and it tore that little bit of sheet metal. But this side's fine and I've almost got this spring out. So I just got the scissor jack in there and just, like you can see, it's loose. Like it's not, all it's doing is just pushing the suspension down, but there's no weight on it. Be careful of your brake line. That spring's just about out. So I'll get under there, pull that spring out, put the new one in. I just want to show you like where you sort of put it. This side, it's not hurting nothing. There's not even that much weight on it. It's just pulling that suspension down. The other side, I don't know why. It was That suspension arm was hard to get down. So the old one's out. This is a new one. You can see the coils are shorter, like thinner, thicker. But the Lovels, they're just thick. So even though they're the same size, the spring rate should be lower on this. So there's your little rubber boot. That's off the top. They come. Oh, that's your rubber boot, and that sits on the top, and you got one for the bottom too, just there. So this will fall out when you pull the spring out. Just put it back in the spring on the top, it's fine. Got it all fitted, just going for a little drive over some speed humps softly, just to get everything articulated and settled. This Calais aircon's beautiful, inside's mint too, no saggy roof from me. This is how not to fit your suspension. If you fit it and you have an accident, don't come crying to me. Would I get pedders to fit this? 100%. We can all do it. It's not hard, but you know, unless you're trying to save you, I don't know what they'll charge. Like, don't go. You know, you got to give them a call. You might, you know, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. I don't know what they charge for fitment. But if it's something that you're like, oh, I just need to save a bit. I've got a little extra time. Go do it. It's not hard. I did it for content. I can do it. I didn't need to do it. If it wasn't a long weekend, I wouldn't do it. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed. It is Monday, about lunchtime. I'm feeling fresh, had a shower. I'm just cruising, man. I love this car. So I'll show you what it looks like. Now the suspension should be settled, and if it's something that you want, hit pedders up. Let's get some photos. Let's see what this thing looks like. And this isn't a show car, so I wanted it leveled, like out of grandpa spec, out of the boat spec, and just sitting nice, handling good. And so far, that's what I've achieved.
It's been 3 days since I've seen